of comedians coming from all around the place, Boston, Manchester. We have people coming from Georgetown. It's gonna be a good show. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
You guys should have clapped for the Bud Light $2 earlier for that. Can you clap it up for the Bud Light $2?
Yeah.
Even the kids are doing it. They're like, yeah, Christmas gift is safe. $2. All right, what do we have first? I forgot my computer died. Sorry. I'm sorry, my computer died. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Alvarado Mendoza.
Thank you. Guys, I like how the comedy show got more applause than the $2 Bud Lights. I think we're in for like a good time. Usually cheap alcohol would go above anything, like human relationships. But tonight the comedy's so good that we're better than alcohol. Hi kids. I'm actually pretty happy to be doing comedy here, because I think it's a good test to see if I'm actually good at this, because I'm competing with like 45 televisions right now. Even if one of my jokes gets you to stop watching the TV, you can always just start watching Little League Baseball or gambling, whatever you're into. Right, kids? You're into gambling? Don't do gambling. That's the worst one. So I guess I'll tell you something about myself. I'm a massive fan of ice cream. I love Klondike bars. Anybody like Klondike bars? Yeah? All right, bartender's a fan. So that means a free drink, I think. That's how it works. You make a joke that the bartender likes, you get free things. So all my material is bartender based. Klondike bars have this slogan. They're like, what would you do for a Klondike bar? If it comes down to it, honestly, I'll just purchase one. I don't care. I'm crazy. I'll go to a store and I promise you guys I'll do it. I'll slam $2 down on that bitch. I'll be like, give me one of those Klondike bars. I don't know why they're behind the counter, but it doesn't matter. A little something else about me. I wrestle, and I am not in high school. All right, wonderful response there. I'm an assistant wrestling coach, which is a pretty sweet gig. I don't know if you guys know this. When you get older, there's like not a lot of places where you can just like go and wrestle. There's no pickup wrestling. So when you get older, your only option is just to wrestle with high schoolers. That's why I took the job, because it was either become an assistant wrestling coach or take some serious time to consider some legitimate jail time. All right. That's how it goes sometimes, right? Now, yeah, it's a pretty satisfying job. You want to know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because I get to put my cool shoes on again, I get to jump out on that mat, and I get to beat up 14-year-olds. That's the truth, and they never see it coming. Every single time, it's always a different move. I'll hit them with the high crotch, my favorite move. After practice, every time I do that move, all they have is questions. They're like, Coach, how did you get into my house at 3 in the morning? I'm like, dude, you're asking the wrong questions right now. You gotta work on your technique. How about a little hospitality? A Klondike bar, perhaps? All right, clearly I have this room in the palm of my hand right now. It's work. It doesn't even matter what I say right now. Like, it's so in the zone right now that it doesn't matter. I went to, this will do good. I went to actually my name is Alvaro, which is a Spanish name. My mom gets really picky when people say it wrong. One time this guy messed it up, and she was like, can you get it right? It's Alvaro, joder. And I was like, Mom, can we possibly get through TSA? I've had a lot of people mess up that name over the years, but it never bothers me. Like, it's a good story. You know, there was this girl that I had a crush on in my neighborhood when I was younger. You know, I saw her. You know, it's difficult to ask out girls. You have to have like confidence. You gotta have a perfect pickup line, and then you gotta climb over their backyard fence. You know, that's always the toughest part. But I went up to her and I did what anybody else would do when they see a girl that they're super into. I offered to do her yard work. All right, and she accepted because I'm Mexican and I do good stuff. You know, then about 2 hours into that yard work session, she goes, "Thanks for helping me out. You have been so sweet, avocado." I was like, "It's not avocado, it's Keith. Get it right." I should have said something. I should have corrected her, but I let her get away with it. You know, I was like, "Look, I'm gonna let this slide, but only because you are 60. That's right, guys. I'm into old ladies. That's my thing. That's why I offer yard work. I went to a strip club recently. Is it cool if I talk about this with your kids right there? It's not graphic. I went to a strip club recently. It was a good experience. A pretty solid 6 hours. You know? I gotta say though, I don't know if I am a strip club guy. You know? But I came to the conclusion that if I ever do go back to a strip club, this time I'd like to go inside. You know, not just hang outside in a crop top. That's not my style. No, I'm kidding. I went inside. I actually did go inside the strip club. First thing I noticed about the strip club, and honestly, myself, is that I don't think that I like seeing other dudes be horny. Jesus, he says. And just like that, he won over the crowd. I'm just, you know, I don't even care, you know? Because there's just these beautiful lights above me. It's romantic. You can't do anything to faze me. Well, you can take my car, but that'll affect me. And I went to the strip club, and I sat down with my older buddy. I went with my 35-year-old friend. He used to work at that strip club. It kind of felt like a take your son to work day, you know? But if I wasn't his son, and if he didn't no longer work at the strip club, that's the same thing, right? I think. The stripper came up to me, she offered me a lap dance, and I told her the same thing that I told the cashier when my mom left me at the checkout line by myself when I was 9 years old, that I only had $9 in my pocket. I was like, that's all I have. Which, by the way, for a stripper, massive deal breaker. All right. I went to a private school in Lexington. Anybody heard of Lexington? I got some woos. Which is like a super wealthy town. You know, but I wasn't super wealthy. I remember realizing just how poor I was relative to the kids around me, just based off of like the types of fundraisers that the school was literally throwing. You know, they were raising money for other towns as if they were third world countries. You know, this teacher came in one time, she was like, "Kids, let's get excited, all right? We're gonna put on this fundraiser. We're gonna raise the money that we need for the poor, and incredibly unprivileged children of Malden." I was like, wait, but that's where I live. What the hell are you doing to me right now? I got a dad. Anybody else have a dad? Do you have a dad? Is this your dad? Nice. Relatable. Crowd work. I did it. Yeah, I got a dad. My dad's, how old's your, was that rude? How old are you, sir? 56. That's pretty middle age. My dad's actually 82. He's an old dude. I've been like worried about my dad dying, which I know this is probably gonna bring down the vibe of the bar even more, but I've been worried about him dying. I'm not ready for my dad to die because he has like a lot of credit card debt. You know? And I'm worried that that shit's gonna get passed down to me. You know, my friends keep talking to me like I'm an idiot. They're like, "Alvaro, that's not how credit card debt works. Alright, it doesn't get passed down like that." I'm like, it's $60,000. You better be right about that shit. When I found out about the debt, I wasn't even making any sense. I was like, Mom, if I inherit this when he dies, I'm gonna kill him. That's unacceptable. You can't do that to me. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. I got a sister. Also, give me the light whenever. I don't want to go over it. I got a sister that is 16 years old. She's got a boyfriend that is 6'3", which is taller than me, despite what it may look like. You know, when I first found out about her boyfriend, I wasn't even sure that I'd be able to protect her. You know, I was like, I think this is it. I think I have to just give her away. You know, what am I gonna do? You know, because like, what if he says something mean to her? Like, what am I gonna do? You know, he calls her a bad word, like the B word, bitch. You know, I'm like, did you just do that? He's like, yeah. What are you gonna do about it? I'm like, you know what, Tristan? I'm gonna give you guys some privacy. I'm gonna let you guys work it out. You know, he comes downstairs, he punches a hole in the wall. I'm like, oh my God, we shouldn't have even put that wall there. You know, he's been wreaking havoc on my house. He came downstairs the other day with a Sharpie, without even asking me, he wrote his name on my wall. You know, on my height measuring wall. I was like, there goes my title. Unbelievable. Now I'm the fourth tallest. It goes my ex-girlfriend, my sister's boyfriend, and then her younger sister, then me. So I have no authority in my household. Thanks, bro. I get anxious in the bedroom. I have a hard time. Like with sex, like not like in bedrooms in general. You know, I don't walk in and see a low thread count and just freak. You know, I get nervous because like my head keeps running loose, so I'll have thoughts that disconnect me from what's going on. You know, and this might be TMI, probably for the little kids, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it anyways. I've never been able to finish from head. You know, and that's something that I've always wanted to experience, even when I was 7 years old. You know, my teacher asked me, Alvaro, what do you want to do when you get older? I said, look, I'd like to finish from a blowjob. And she said, get the fuck out of this classroom. All right, you guys have been fantastic. I hope I somewhat warmed you up.
Let's try that again. Give it up for Alvaro Mendoza. Great guy. He's from Boston. He's from Boston, Mass. I don't know what's going on.